No, I just want to mention that I think this is pretty awesome that Coach Collins would even have me do this. I'm very thankful for this opportunity, and I don't know many head coaches that would have their strength coach speak to the media during spring ball, and I just love what we have here as a strength program. I love his support of it, and I'm thankful I get to coach these kids the way I do, and looking forward to this.
Outstanding. Thanks, Coach. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. And our first question comes from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Hey, Lou. When you went into the off season, how did you divide up the groups for lifting?
Well, it was 3 groups, about 30 guys each, so we could have 2 guys on each rack wearing masks, and it was just based on class schedule. We split up the runs by offensive line and defensive line, and then everyone else. So we had 2 different run groups and spread out a lot. But it was different from the in-season where we were all in the indoor. So it was nice to be back in our weight room again, and it kind of gave us our cultural piece back that we felt like we were missing a lot the previous year.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Hey, Coach. I was curious how difficult has this last year been just for you with your job, such a hands-on, face-to-face, close-up with guys, and just all of the different intricacies of trying to be a strength coach during all of this stuff?
Yeah, at first it was interesting because Coach Collins called me and he was like, "Hey, I think this is going to last a little longer than a week, so just be ready to have a plan." I'm like, "Well, we'll be back in May, right? Like this will pass." And it was a long time. So initially I was confused on what to do, but then I figured out real quick that the plan that I had was going to work, and just my son was very heavily involved as my cameraman. I always posted videos with a backpack and loaded with books and water jugs. And, instead of him saying, "Hey, Dad, are we going to school tomorrow?" Or he'd say, "Dad, do we have to film tomorrow?" So it just became a routine. And I used my kids for resistance in a lot of the videos, which was great. I think it was a big hit. And people were joking like I was the Southeast head strength coach for all of quarantine because they all followed our videos. But as far as a challenge, I think it's a huge piece for the strength coach to be creative, in my opinion. So it really wasn't too far out of my tool shed where I was like way out of my comfort zone. I was pretty comfortable with thinking outside the box and how to get these kids going. And with the messages I gave them over quarantine on Twitter or with the workouts, whatever it was, I felt like we came back in pretty good shape. If they followed those, they came back in even better shape. So it was an interesting time. It was a challenging time, but all together, I look back, I'm thankful for it because it got everyone very creative.
Next question comes from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, Louis, you had to replace your staff this offseason, and they're coming from seems like a variety of different backgrounds. Can you tell us a little bit about just how you put it together and kind of what each of them brings?
Yeah. So obviously lost 3 great people, and I was very close with all of them. So had to replace them. One player that played for me at Michigan is now an assistant here. So I was an assistant in Michigan. He was a player. He has a certification. He's been coaching, and he brings a wealth of knowledge from the field. And he's always been lifting. He's always been training himself. He's played in the NFL, so I think he brings a lot of experience. There's another guy that was a paid intern here for us all season last year. Did a great job and got rewarded and bumped up. He also had a shot to play in the NFL and played in Canada for a little while and works really well with our D linemen. And then Sean is another guy that is twin brothers with Pat, another guy on our staff. I always call him the Big Bears. It's so funny watching them move such heavy weight every day in the weight room together. But he came from Colorado State. He was a GA at Temple and brings a wealth of knowledge again. And I think we hit a home run with the 3 guys we have. And all the players love them. They did a great job this winter. And they're becoming themselves more now and comfortable with who they're supposed to be here. So I thought it was a great addition.
We'll take another question from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Hey, Lou, you probably had a good idea of what to expect from the guys who are coming back, but you also have some early enrollees and some transfers. What have you seen from them?
Oh, they've been incredible. I mean, the guys that we had coming back, I knew were going to bring a lot of energy, but the transfers have really molded so well with our team right now. It's like they've been here for 3 years, it feels like. So numerous positions where they brought in transfers. The way they came in and the way they kept their head down and the way they learned from previous transfers that we had, man, it was the best offseason we've had yet in the winter so far, because everyone just gelled. Everyone was bringing energy the same way. And those guys really stepped up the temperature in each room, I believe. I think the competition level's deeper now. I think it just raised everyone's level of effort and urgency. You know, you can't just show up and you can't, there is depth, there is talent, there is guys that are prepared, there's guys that are being pros, and those guys had a lot to do with it. So really happy with that side of everything.
We'll go ahead and take a few more for Coach Caralla before we bring up the student athletes. We'll take another one from Kelly Quinlan.
Strength and conditioning is always evolving and that kind of thing. How much time do you have to spend kind of studying and seeing what other people doing and conferencing with other coaches and that kind of thing? Is it very kind of time consuming thing in the off season?
Yeah, I mean, every time, you know, every break you get, I always call my mentors and ask them a ton of questions and how I can improve, and different things that, you know, I see on videos or different things I reach out to coaches about year round. We always go to a national clinic every year, which has been virtual lately, but that's always got a wealth of great speakers and take a bunch of notes. And of course, the reading material you can always step into. And I like to read a lot of leadership books and, you know, inspirational things and people that inspire me. So I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to get better. And I'm always trying to help my staff get better too, and make sure they're on the right track to becoming a head strength coach. And then just keep the most wisdom you can in your heart and use your experience that you've gone through to help these players every day.
Okay, Ken, another one from Ken Segura.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of the guys that were named Ultimate Iron Jackets, Demetrius and Austin. And I guess if you feel led to talk more about, or not Demetrius, Wanye and Austin, and also Demetrius, but kind of what did they do that prompted them to be recognized for their work?
So we had a guy for skill, a guy for big skill, and a guy for line. And it was a pretty clear choice at the end of it all, where Wanye just made everyone better around him. He's a contagious energy guy. He gets his teammates better. He's so focused, but he can have fun. He's energetic. He was the one thinking of all these ideas to attack me and kidnap me and, you know, different things, and then lift entrances. He's just so charismatic. He's so contagious. He's such a great kid, and he did a great job improving all year. So with that said, he made it. Demetrius was on a different level of work ethic that I've ever seen. He was doing things in the weight room that when guys slow down on certain things, he was just going as hard as he could still. His effort, his extra work, his discipline, his accountability, his toughness. I mean, you name it, that kid was all over it. And then Austin Smith stood out a lot because he gained weight, he lost fat, he got so much more powerful. His vertical jump went way up. Like, he improved number wise, but he was also that guy in that line group that got everyone around him going. He took the charge. He was the best teammate. And he was very tough and gritty through that hard stuff we did. Really proud of his offseason, so that's why.